Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Amazing Tarot Reading. Today, as you can see in the thumbnail, you see in the title, today I am going to be doing a reading on the beef between Cardi B and Armon Wiggins. And I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that at this point, yes, Cardi B, you are indeed the drama. It just seems like it hasn't been ending. It's all part of her rollout. I think it's been helping the sales. I don't know. I haven't looked to see where she is now, but the girl has been in nonstop rants and beefs and crash outs since before her album even dropped, really. But it was with Nicki, it was with JT, now Armand. She was talking about, was somebody else in here too? Was it just bloggers in general? I don't know. I can't keep up with it. It happens every like 5 to 6 business days with her. But at this point, mama, just log off and go enjoy your pregnancy and stop going back and forth with these people. I will say that, to be upfront, I don't have a lot of empathy, I should say, when it comes to Cardi B and what she's going through, because there seems to be a lot of like woo-shooing and mind trickery. She tries to play with like the words and stuff that she does, or like, I don't know, because if you don't know the whole beef behind her and Armand, these two, they used to be close friends when she first came out, and they would talk about Nicki or whatever the case may be. For some reason, they fell out, which is something that I'm going to get into in this reading as well. And then it's just been hectic between these two ever since then. And recently, because of this, because of her and Armand Wiggins falling out and him doing a pop-up on, was it Angela Yee's show? I believe it was, because I was about to say Breakfast Club, but he did an appearance on Angela Yee's radio station talking about the whole beef and his side of the story of what happened. um for why she started going off on him at first when she was going back and forth with Nicki, because Cardi B accused Armand of like egging it on and fanning the flames between her and Nicki Minaj, because he pointed out that she did say that she was gonna outsell. She did not say Nicki's name, but it was pretty much inferred that she was going to outsell Nicki's, I want to say it was Pink Friday 2 numbers. And she was saying she was going to do all these numbers, all this stuff, and she fell short. And so it's been a big egg on her face kind of moment. I think there is a lot. I think there is, I'm not going to say a lot there. I think there's a bit of, some crow eating, and she doesn't do well with that at all. And so she also doesn't like that this is something that her ops is holding over her head in a way. And so I think she is just being very sensitive. On top of that, it seems like she's always trying to control the narrative on something, and that to me is where my empathy leaves me for Cardi B, because trying to control the narrative and control how people think about you is the most craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And she tries so hard with that. And it's a little weird, to me anyway. I don't know about anybody else. You can't control what everybody think about you. I know it may hurt your feelings, you may not like that person, it may make you upset, but it doesn't happen that way. You cannot control how other people think about you, or what they think about you, or what they say about you. You have to let that go. And I'm surprised at her big old age, are going through some of the things that she claims that she has gone through. She has not learned that. And maybe that's because in her, pond that she used to swim in when she was the big shark in the pond, she could just move people out the way. You on a bigger stage now. You can't just whack everybody. Um, So yeah, I want to get into this reading and see what's kind of like the root of the issue. Is it just because these two had a bad breakup and they're because they were friends, not in a relationship, but was there just some kind of bad breakup here in the friendship, and now these two are just going back and forth? Is there something more to this? Is it part of the rollout? Because some people may assume that. I just kind of want to see what's going to be this energy reading for these two, and see what I get. With all of that being said, you see it scrolling along the bottom here. All statements made are alleged for entertainment purposes only. Think of me as a spiritual translator. I'm going to try my best. I do try my best to just give you the best unfiltered or YouTube filtered message that I can give you, and just delivering the information. And I'll just leave it at that. I feel not one way about either one of these parties. I know less about Armon, so if somebody's gonna get ready to start typing in the chat that you seem to say a whole lot about Cardi, she is like undeniably the bigger star here. So yes, I know way more about Cardi. I have done about 2 or 3 readings on her by now. Um, I think this is the first one ever I've done on Armon, and I've only caught. I've watched some of Armon's stuff. I don't watch him all the time, but I have caught some of his stuff. If he is watching this, hey boo. But yeah, I don't feel one way or the other. What comes out is what comes out. And, what I pick up on is not going to tell the whole story either. You know what I'm saying? I just want that to be clear, because I'm tapping into their energies. It's not going to tell the whole story. It may give us a peep into what's going on, but it's not going to give the whole story. So I just want to be clear on that. So without further ado, let's start this off on Armand's energies towards Cardi B here. Let's see if I can tap into that. Ooh, look at that, the lovers. Okay, and these two wanted to come out as well. Ooh, okay. Are you a water sign, Armand? Like, I don't know what your sign is, but there seems to be a lot of Cancer and Piscean energy in here. You might be a Scorpio, but I just think Cancer, because of the Knight of Cups coming up here, and with the Lovers, for some reason, I just kind of get like that Cancer energy, even though it's typically the Moon. But that's what came up for me. As neither here nor there. But it's interesting that we do have the Lovers card here. So I wonder if there is a thing of like a mutual, or now, let me not say mutual because I'm reading on Armand's energy, but I wonder if there's a thing here of just like, hey, there's some respect here. There is some love here. This is me just kind of like standing in my truth. However, the Ten of Cups is coming up in reverse here in between. So I wonder if this is a thing of just kind of like, it's something with a lost something. Lost, I don't know if it's love lost, or maybe a loss of respect, or maybe seeing things clearly. I don't know what that I'm getting a bead on, but the Ten of Cups is coming up here in reverse, and that usually does speak to disharmony, and that does speak to kind of like falling out of love and unhappiness here. So I wonder if there is a thing here, or more than likely, I think there's a thing here of just kind of like, I love doing what I do, but I don't like that this is some of the stuff, or like from my previous mistakes, going along the way, these are some of the mistakes that I made, and I will not be doing that moving forward. It's also interesting that we have the Knight of Cups here as well, because this is also somebody who seems, who typically is just very dreamy, very up in the head. So again, with the Knight of Cups, that could be that Piscean Cancer energy for me. Because this is somebody who is very much like in tune with the world. They like live in their own little dream world, and I wonder if there's a thing here of like, Okay, this is not what I thought it was, or what I tried to make it be. We do have, ooh, it's a lot of people coming up here. Snakies. Okay, I do want to point this out because we have the Seven of Swords coming up here at the end that is speaking to sneakiness and treachery here. Okay, so I wonder if there is something here where he just kind of feels like she's sneaky and she treachery. We do have the Queen of Coins and the King of Swords coming up here, so this don't have to pertain to a particular person, but it can speak to kind of maybe like the industry or their connections, or it could be speaking to somebody else, or it could be speaking to Armon and Cardi B, like kind of like his perspective on their energy here. Because with the King of Swords coming up here in reverse, this is somebody who is cold-hearted, sneaky, they are cunning, they are, what's the word I want to say? I want to say blunt to the point, but just, somebody who is very analytical and, just kind of closed off from their emotions. So maybe he got a little Aquarian energy in there. And then we have the Queen of Coins coming up here in reverse as well. And again, time and time again, I do want to point this out. I'm never surprised when I'm reading on celebrities or people in the industry that a coin and a sword pop out, because I feel like that's typically the energy people see with the industry. And note that these two are coming up in reverse. So to me, I wonder if the Ten of Cups is coming up here because there's a dissatisfaction with probably some people or issue or or the industry at large. Like maybe he is tired of how the mind games are played in the industry. I do also want to say I feel like there's something here about how the industry may change people. That might be something else that's coming up here for him. But yeah, I'm not surprised this is coming up for him because I do think he recently did like a switch around, some shifting, some changing with his channel recently too. So, or he did another channel. Okay, let's see what I'm gonna pick up here with Cardi B. Ooh, okay. Hangsman. I do want to note these all flipped over in my hand. We have the Seven of Coins. We have the Six of Coins. The Five of Wands. I'm not surprised they came up. And the Three of Wands. Not surprised by that one either. I see why those fell out. I know Cardi B is a Libra. It's crazy how many water cards are popping up here. But again, usually water and tarot speaks to emotion. So there is a lot of emotion in this. Okay, then Five of Coins also coming up in reverse. Yeah, to me, I'm gonna jump straight to this with the Five of Coins. I'm not surprised that's coming up for Cardi B. I think she wants to be in a space where people are not talking negatively about her. Where I also think she is very defensive and yeah, defensive when it comes to people in the music industry because she's been burned too many times. It's a bunch of fake people, her included. I'm sorry, I gotta say that, her included. Because and the reason why I say she's fake from what I've seen on the outside, again, revert back to the beginning of this video when I was saying she plays a lot of mind games and trickery. Because how you gonna lie and say that you was not trying to get him off the radio, but you was literally having a conversation with Angelique talking about, well, why you putting somebody on that don't like me, and let him tell his narrative. I would have thought you would have had more loyalty to me, and not having him on your show. That's you essentially getting that person removed. You want him removed. What? The mind games. But anyways, the Five of Cups, I mean Five of Coins coming up here in reverse for her is not surprising at all. This is somebody who is also feeling ostracized. I do also think there may be something here feeling a little of exposed, and wanting to kind of like cover and huddle up a little bit here, kind of wanting to hide away. Yeah, it kind of feels like there's something here about like kind of wanting to hide away, not really trusting people in the industry and stuff as well. I do also want to point out with the Five of Coins coming up here in reverse, this can speak to money situations, essentially things having to be tight, maybe her having a penny pinch, or maybe her having to watch her coinage for a little bit right here, because this is the Five of Coins. It is coming up in reverse for her. We do have the Hanged Man, so this is looking at something in a different light. And I would say if I was doing this reading to her face to face, I would be like, you need to change your perspective and your mentality when it comes to online and social media, because some of the same things you flip around and tell other people, you need to believe that and tell yourself, because you don't do it your dang self. So that's the things with Libras. They can bring balance to maybe other people's lives, not their own. They are not balanced individuals at all. Then we also do have the Chariot here in reverse. To me, this is speaking to Cardi. You need to stop. You need to halt. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to rest, okay? Because with the Chariot coming up in reverse, usually when it comes up in the upright, this is like a momentum speeding forward, knowing where you kind of want to go. I think of movement, you know, progress. With this coming up in reverse, the Chariot coming up in reverse, for me, this is like, you need to stop, think twice, go back. Go back, rest where you are, and get it together. And I think, again, this is because she has so much going on right now because of her dropping this album, and then she's kind of like, I don't want to say focusing on the wrong things, because I don't also want to downplay her feelings, but it's like, you need to change your focus, you need to change your perspective, you need a reality shift, because you're focusing on all the wrong stuff right now, and you're trying to fight and prove a point. And I don't know, I kind of want to say like regain your old self or something in some kind of way, and you're kind of going about it the wrong way. Um, yeah, it's kind of like, I wonder if she missed those days when it seemed like everybody was talking about her in a reverence, was speaking about her in reverence or in a loving way, and now she doesn't always see that. Now she's kind of seeing all the ugliness, and it's like, you lean into that. Then we also do have the Sun here. Oh, baby girl is not happy. Oh, the Tower. I think she need to watch out. Something is coming up for her. And the Two of Swords in reverse. Baby. But this is also, again, her energies towards Armon. So maybe there's a thing here where she is trying to hell rain fire and brimstone on people she just can't stand. I'm gonna get my leg back. I don't know, it's very kindergarten. But yeah, it may be that something else is coming up here. But just reading these cards outright, the Sun coming up in reverse, I'm not surprised. This is somebody who is very unhappy, dissatisfied about things. Um, could also be speaking to some wanting something to stay secret and hidden. We do have the Tower here, so there's sometimes, again, they could be speaking to that perspective shift needed. Notice this Tower and the Hanged Man are upright. They could be speaking to the paradigm shift she needs, the perspective shift, or maybe, a bad ending that you cannot avoid is coming to you because you have not changed your behavior or how you respond to the negativity around you in some kind of way. Like, there's only so much you can do to hold off that karma. Like, eventually it's gonna come in. And I feel like you would kind of just want it to kind of come in easy, or as let it come in little eeks, so it's not piling up and it just all come at you and just whop you upside your head. But then we also have the Two of Swords also coming up here in reverse. So this is the Two of Swords automatically is always like a stuck between the rock and a hard place. But when it coming up in reverse, this makes me feel like you are backed up against the wall. You are backed into a corner with no way out. And I don't know if that's how she wants to make Armand feel, or that's how Armand makes her feel. But it is coming up in her energy reading here. I'm not getting a clear beat on which way that's swinging for her, but that is something that's coming up with her energy reading. Now, because I do know that apparently a lot of this started because these two are no longer friends, and Armon was saying that he was going to reveal why they were no longer friends. So I want to see if I can also pick up on anything with that as well. See if there's anything I'm going to get on why these two stopped being friends, and maybe that will help explain some of those cards I got in their individual readings. Let's see here. Okay, I do want to know these are the three cards that's sticking over here, so I want to read that. Gossip. I kind of think of gossip right there. Okay, now who's these people? I want to say this is Cardi B, Queen of Wands, just because I know she's an Aries moon, like spicy Spitfire. And then it makes me feel like this is dealing with rumors. And then the Page of Coins coming up in reverse. This makes me feel like okay, I don't think anybody is going to be surprised by what I'm getting here, because if you've heard some of the stuff that has come out before, to me, this makes me feel like what a lot of people accuse her and Kim Barbie of doing. Like, I'll employ you to help put out a narrative or be my mouthpiece when it comes to these blogs and things like that, and you will get a kickback because the Page of Coins is coming up in reverse. This is, to me, that kind of speaking to materialism, some maybe some sneakiness, doing what it takes for a business, a bad partnership in some kind of way, or like not having all of the information up, if right up front, going into this job. It's kind of like maybe you didn't read that fine print, you didn't ask enough questions here, and something about this made me feel like this is pertaining to yeah, like blogging, controlling a narrative, yeah, controlling rumors. Let me know if something come up about me that you hear in like blind items or something like that. Look, yeah, Eight of Cups, the Queen of Cups coming up here, and we also have the Queen of Coins. Um, yeah, when I think of the Queen of Cups, but typically, when I think of this with the Queen of Cups, it comes up in reverse. I think of emotional manipulation, but with it coming up in the upright, and if I'm still going with, or getting this correct, it kind of just feels like I want you to help me shape. I don't know why I wanted to say that. Help me conduct a magic, or help me put a lure out here for people to kind of be like, hey, she's this, she's that. Go out here and sprinkle a little bit, sprinkle a little bit here, sprinkle a little bit there about, little tidbits about, Cardi gives to charity, or, hey, did you hear about this rumor about Cardi B? And you be the talking piece of kind of like dead that. That's what this feels like to me. The Eight of Cups walking away. And then you have the Queen of Coins coming up here. Again, usually with the Queen of Coins, this can be, again, somebody who's very materialistic, or this could be somebody with both of these. This could be nurturing too. So I wonder if there's some like I don't know what the motherly energy is coming up here for, but these, especially with the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Coins, for me, they usually speaks of like very strong feminine energy, motherly energy as well. I think of some with the Queen of Coins, I typically think of somebody who is very nurturing, very caring, as well. What else comes up here? Not surprised with the Ten of Swords coming up in reverse. Ace of Wands. Is this creative differences as well with the Ace of Wands? Something from the past friendship. I do think their friendship came to a nasty end with this Ten of Swords coming up here. Okay, I need Few more cards. Hierophant. This makes me still feel like this is like I'm trying to control the people. Help, help me call, cull. Help me call, lure, um, cultivate the brand of me, the persona of Cardi B. You have the Four of Coins also coming up here in reverse. I wonder maybe if it was something that was like, hey, you want me to spread this story? I'm doing all this work for you. Give me more money. And she wasn't willing to give more money either. Like, or maybe he was asking for too much or something. Because the Four of Coins, especially with this coming up in reverse, I think of penny pincher. I think of miser. With the Four of Coins coming up here in reverse, this is very like stingy energy. I wonder if this is also, it could also be, if it's not finances, just somebody being a very stingy person. Like maybe this friendship felt lopsided. It felt one way. Like we're doing a whole lot for you and not for me. It's not really paying off for me right now. And then we also have the Six of Wands here too. So I wonder, I'm getting something about this is damaging my credibility, or maybe like people are questioning this information or something. Okay, last pull, seriously. Ace of Coins. Yeah, look at that, the Tower. Yeah, this is just speaking to their friendship. I feel like this was something about a contract, some kind of money agreement. Somebody reneged on something, a promise or something here. With the Ace of Coins coming up in reverse, you also have the Tower coming up here in reverse, leading to death. Um, mm, yeah, I'm gonna stick with what I got. And I'm gonna leave this reading here. I'm not gonna pull any more cards. This makes me feel like the friendship and or the hints why this is going off, and probably why Armon goes in pretty hard on Cardi B, is because he's probably very much aware, because he was part of the group that helped. He was in the writer's room. That's the only way I could put it. He was in Cardi B's basement. He was in, allegedly. He was allegedly a part of the writer's room. He was allegedly, a part of the team. He was allegedly in the basement helping with the body and controlling narratives and putting things out there. He was on the payroll, and they weren't willing to cut the check for the amount of work. He felt like they weren't cutting him enough for the amount of work he was putting in, and it became a problem, and it influenced their friendship, and it made her feel like, well, I can't trust you now because you know too much, and now we got a problem. And now I feel like every single time when you say something or do something against me, I feel like it's a personal attack, and so it's on red anytime, any place. And that's what that feels like for me. That's what this reading kind of musters up for me here. And I don't know if I'm right here. This is all alleged. All statements made are alleged for entertainment purposes only. But that's what it feels like. The reason why these two fell out, and the reason why these two are gonna always be at odds with one another, because it's just kind of like you know too much. It's kind of like that best friend you done had since like elementary school, and suddenly y'all adults and y'all done feel like, you're like, nah, I gotta push you off a cliff because you know too much. Especially when they turn into like your mortal enemy. It's like, ooh, that's the different type of hurt. I don't think it's that deep for her, but it definitely is the thing of like, you know a little too much, so I gotta whack you every time I can. But let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. Do you think I'm close here, or do you have some information maybe, or your own insights that you can add to the comments? Sprinkle it down in there. And if you don't have anything to say, drop an emoji, just helping out with that algorithm. If you don't feel like doing either one of those, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can see the next time I upload, and get more readings like this. Yeah, I'm not really surprised with some of the cards that I got here. Ugh. Be careful. Be careful. The industry, y'all weird. Y'all weird. Bye.